How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Happy Christmas Eve. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're with friends or family. But I want to take a look back. Tomorrow we're going to take a look back too. But I just want to look at the last bull run. How much money people made from about this time of the year. I'll say about this time in relation to the halving, right? About 4 months away from the halving into the top of the bull market. Look at what the gains were because they are absolutely nuts. I want to get you excited for the road ahead. Now, of course, always do your own due diligence. Make sure that you're only investing money that you are willing to risk or to lose. Don't invest money that you need next month. But it's meant to show you that we can have great returns, even though we've already been doing pretty well. The market's been pretty good, at least at the time of this recording. I'm recording Friday, so a few days before you'll see this. Even though we've already seen some good returns, this is just the beginning, in my opinion. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video because we post every single day, usually multiple times a day, but it is the holidays, so just once a day probably. Maybe I'll post a second one day of if there's some big news. But check out the links underneath the video as well to Margex, where you can trade on leverage. There's no KYC. You don't need a VPN at this point either. And you can use all different kinds of collateral. So I just opened up a trade with Sol on Bitcoin. So you can do that with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. Now, there's also a link down there to Blowfin as well, where we're doing a contest. It may still be open, just slightly open for a little bit longer by the time you see this video. We have about 2 days and 18 hours left, so you're not too late. Now, I want to take a look using the Wayback Machine. Take a look at where the market was. This is on January 1, 2020. Keep in mind that the Bitcoin halving was about May 11, I believe. May 11, 2020. So about 4 months away. That's about where we're looking at now. We're expecting the halving to be in April, about 4 months away. So let's take a look at the price, and then we'll compare it to where it was at the peak of the market, or around the peak. Not even timing it perfectly, but just like within a couple weeks of the peak. Bitcoin, $7,000. Ethereum, $131. I mean, imagine that, getting Ethereum at 131. I think the best price we got during this bear market was 900 or 1,000, somewhere around there. XRP, 19 cents. So still, it's gone up a decent amount since then. The market cap of USDT was only $4 billion. I mean, think about that. That's nuts. Now it's 90 billion. Not that you would make money in the meantime, but that just shows you how much money. It's 20x'd, 22x'd since last bear market. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Let's look at some of the other ones on here. Binance Coin, $13.81. Right now it's around 300 or so. Let's move down the line. Cardano, 0.03 cents, and it's in the top 15. That's kind of crazy too. I mean, it was under $1 billion market cap. If we go down the line, I don't even think Solana had launched yet. VeChain was at half of a cent. Dogecoin, top 35, but still 0.002. The market cap was 250 million. Now it's 40 times that. So it's just crazy to look at this. Now let's compare it to today's price, or not today's prices, but the top of the last bull run's prices. So this is October 31st, 2021. As you can see, Bitcoin's in the $60,000 range, but it's not $69,000 yet. Ethereum, $4,200. Keep in mind, it was at about 130 before. When we look at the last price, let me scroll over. $130, as you can see over here. And here it's $4,200. So a nice 30x. Binance Coin, $521, as opposed to, where was it here, $13, $14. Another 30x, maybe a little bit more. Tether at this point had exploded as well, $70 billion market cap. Cardano moved up to almost $2. It moved up to $3 at one point. So it moved up 100x from this point to the very top. But even here, moving up to $2, that's nuts. That's a 60x. Solana came from nothing to $200. Still, it's half the size now that it was back then. You can go down the line. $1.79 for Chainlink. Where's Chainlink on here? $30. I mean, the gains are huge. I don't have to walk through everything with you, but you can see just how big some of these cryptos are. Some came from nothing, like Shiba. Some exploded. Dogecoin did a 50, 60x at that point. And some of them are still down from where they were at close to the peak of the last bull run. I mean, Polkadot, it's like, what, $10 today? It was 40 at near the peak of the last bull run. I'm not even sure it's on this list where it is in the past. But you can see just the massive, massive gains. And that's where I kind of like the idea of margin or leverage trading. Like I already have talked about, it's good for TA. It's good to get used to buying in, using technical analysis. It's nice for a variety of different reasons. You can use less capital and get a bigger position. It's good for short-term movements. It's good for long-term too. If you go a little bit lower leverage, you can have some more wiggle room. But that's an interesting thing too. Imagine you got a 60x on Cardano, but you were on 10x leverage, which isn't huge leverage. I mean, that is riskier than buying spot, but that's not a huge amount of leverage. Imagine that, a 600x gain on Cardano. That's nuts. And the thing is, we will have more cryptocurrencies that have these massive gains. Some will come out of nowhere, some you've never heard of before, but a lot of them will come from this list. A lot will come up from maybe top 20, top 50, and will make it into the top 20. And everything will go up substantially. Not everything. There are going to be exceptions. Some will die off, but the majority of crypto is going to go up during the next bull run, right? We're going to see that happen. So I don't think this is a time for selling. Now, I don't know what the market's doing the day that I'm posting this, but some people have talked about taking gains. I'm not taking gains yet, to be clear. I've been dollar cost averaging. I've been accepting payments in crypto because I think that we have a lot more to run. And I realize that this is just the beginning of the bull market. Like, unless you just throw out everything that's happening macro-wise, unless you throw out everything that's happening within crypto with the ETFs, unless you throw out everything that you've ever seen in previous cycles, you should be bullish. Like, all that stuff leads you to believing that this is probably the biggest bull run we've ever seen. And we could actually not have diminished returns. Like, we could actually see a bigger multiple this market compared to previous markets. So instead of catching Bitcoin at 7,000 going up to 70,000, I mean, even with that, think about it, right? We went from Bitcoin hitting about 3,000 to 7,000. The bottom of the 2019 bear market or 2018 bear market, it hit about 3,000. Then by the time we looked, which is about now, just the last cycle, 7,000. So over 2x. That's about where we're at now. We're almost at 3x. But then it 10x from there. Imagine that. That would put Bitcoin at $400,000. It's nuts. And as I've talked about, there are people that will smash buy and they don't care the price of Bitcoin because they just want to get allocation to Bitcoin. They're not sure if we'll ever see lower prices. So that's why I'm so excited all the time. I think the market is set up to be explosive in the coming year and a half. And I don't want you to miss out on that. Now, the last photos I showed you, or the screen captures, right, were from the very beginning of 2020 to about 20 months later, 22 months later, October, November of 2021. So we have a year and a half to 2 years to really have exponential returns. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, there are links to Treasure underneath the video. There are links to Margex. There are links to my Patreon in case you want to know what I'm buying and selling. You can check those out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next